Hello, and welcome to Round Glass. My name is Lisa Kring, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a longtime practitioner of Vipassana Buddhism. And I'm so excited. I'm really happy to be here with all of you right now, and I hope you feel the same, to really explore and to learn how to heal and to manage anger, which is such a powerful emotion that many of us don't know how to navigate. So mindfulness is the perfect tool, the perfect way to allow mindfulness, to allow anger to be felt, to be honored, to be understood, and to be healed. So it's so beautiful to be practicing together right now, and let's really take advantage of this shared sense of community together and what's been offered in the chat, just so that we can all begin to tap into this very powerful emotion that is so universal to the human condition. Have you ever felt like you're about ready to blow your top? And if so, when? So please feel free to share in the chat. It's such a wonderful way to get connected to each other, to not feel alone with what we're experiencing, especially anger. And I'd love to see just what everyone is resonating with. Oh my goodness, someone said, when I feel disrespected. Yes, absolutely. That is one of, for me, one of the triggers that can make me angry. And then someone said when driving. Yeah, I'm sensing when you say when driving, I'm sensing that there's something about the driving where there's traffic involved or some conditions with the driving that are not optimal that can cause frustration and anger. Of course, we all know the expression road rage. This is so harmful to ourselves and others. So that's a really strong indication that anger needs to be honored, but it needs to be mindfully managed so that we don't hurt ourselves and other people, whether we're in a car or wherever we are, right? So I'll just say a few words before we move into a guided meditation that I'd love to share with you all, so that you can experience for yourself in real time how this can feel to open to an emotion as powerful as anger, and to begin to allow it to move through the system in a way that's more skillful. So just tapping back into that reflection, I think we have all felt, as part of the human condition, moments, especially in this last year and a half, it's been so challenging for us all, where we felt like we're just ready to blow. It's just so normal, and justified, actually. Anger, in the spectrum of emotions, anger is a very powerful emotion. But it can, as I was saying, it can, as you may know in your own experience, it can cause harm to ourselves and others if it's not mindfully managed and attended to in real time. Anger, like all emotions, it's energy. It's actually energy moving through the body's systems. It's really interesting just to relate to anger and all emotions like weather, right? Once anger arises, like almost like a windstorm, it can drive us. It can drive us like a fast-moving train. You can really feel how it can sweep us away. So, from a mindfulness perspective, anger does need to be respected, to be honored, and actually skillfully released because of this energy that will just get pent up in the body unless we do. Whenever we are angry, it's really important to acknowledge that it's usually a sign that we or others have been wronged, oppressed, or harmed or mistreated in some way. So anger is a kind of an alarm bell that wakes us up to injustice, to a line that has been crossed, to a wrong. And this is very important to honor it and to pay attention. Anger essentially is protective. It's a wake-up call. And it gets repressed. If it does get repressed, if it's not honored, if we immediately repress it, it remains trapped in the body. And as a consequence, we can become depressed or experience other difficulties. It's often said that anger turned inward becomes depression. And you can feel into this for yourself, and maybe that's what's brought you here right now. You're responding because you know deep down you're ready for this to be released and to be healed. So let's now experience together just some very simple ways, and I'll walk us through this through guided meditation to mindfully recognize, to honor, to actually physically release, and to heal the anger, allowing us to then respond more powerfully and safely in our lives with more clarity, wisdom, and balance without harm to ourselves or others. I hope this feels really welcome to you. So let's just take a few moments as we move now and shift into this guided meditation. It seems kind of counterintuitive. When it comes to anger, it's not easy to sit still when we're angry. But let's just take a few moments first just to mindfully become more embodied, to move into some mindful embodied presence. And then we'll go from there. So what I'd like to invite you to do is to move into a posture that feels quite stable, that feels quite supportive and stable. It's probably best, because I am, through the meditation, just so you know now, I am going to invite you to physically release any pent-up energy in the body. So it might be good to sit. And please know, I'll guide us through it, that through the practice, if you want to stand up, you can. And I'll be offering the guidance to help with that, if it helps you release whatever in the body has been trapped because of anger. So settle in just for now. I'm sitting on the floor with my legs crossed because it's very comfortable and stable for me. I personally really like the support of the earth really close by to the lower half of my body. So you decide for yourself. And for these next 20 minutes or so, let's take this time to attend to the heart and to respect, to honor, to understand, and to heal any anger that's just waiting for release. So I'd like to invite you to really kind of sit back and drop down into the posture that feels stable and supportive for you right now. And you can close your eyes. I invite you to do that as a way to connect more deeply and to actually feel the truth, the reality of the body in this present moment. See if let's just get grounded a bit. It's very helpful to feel anchored, to feel connected, to feel very stable in our bodies. It's reassuring to the nervous system and to the heart. So inviting you to really drop down into the lower half of the body. Wherever in the body it feels most connected to the earth. And just allow, like an elevator, allowing the awareness, this quality of mindful awareness that is very curious, non-interfering and non-reactive, kind and inclusive. Allow it to drop down into the warm, felt sense of the body, all the way down into whatever area represents for you right now the base that feels connected to the earth. And for just a minute, rest in that sense of grounded connection as you really feel it right now. The earth is right there. Can you feel its embrace, cradling the body, holding the body steady, connected and anchored and grounded? And for a moment, just rest in that grounded experience in the body and let that move into the foreground. And just very gently allow any chatter, any stories, any activity in the mind, which will continue, it's to be expected. Let it move gently into the background, not the main focus right now. Don't get caught up in any mental activity if you can. Give it permission to be there, but then gently redirect the awareness down into that base area of the body where you can feel connected and grounded. We're letting the body lead. So as I was saying, really lean back, allow the awareness to drop back and down, and rest in embodied presence. It's always skillful and wise, before we move into the practice, to feel into the heart's intention of what really brought you here, what this is about for you. And make space and connect to this very good and caring heart that brought you to this practice right now, that really cares for you, that wants the best for you, that wants to support you, especially when you feel angry or wronged in any way. So feeling into that quality, that heart quality that brought you here, that's guiding this practice actually. And let that be an alignment that supports this practice right now. Actually feeling into that warm, caring, supportive heart. As you rest in the body that is grounded, connected to the earth, as well as that alignment, that heart alignment, that intention of care that brings you here, that really wants you to suffer less and less. For this practice to have some authenticity, inviting you to consider a situation in your life right now that might trigger some anger for you. And it's best just for this practice, if it's the first time you've tried this, to invite a situation into your heart, into your mind right now, to bring that into your awareness. That's a mildly triggering situation that triggers mild amount of anger. Just so you can try this on. So bringing this to mind and allowing it to move into vivid focus in your mind's eye, as if you're there right now, that situation. And to any degree, so that you can get in touch with the anger that's waiting, that's been perhaps pent up, that is waiting for some release, some understanding, some healing. Place yourself in that situation, even if of course it's going to be a bit painful. Place yourself in that situation so that you can feel into how it makes you upset. Are there other people there? What's going on? Really turn up the volume enough so that you can feel into it. And remember, because anger is painful, you can feel only as much as it feels comfortable for you. You can let in only as much anger as is appropriate and skillful for right now. So take this at your own pace and let in only as much as it feels appropriate, but let in enough so that you can tap into the experience in the heart. As you bring this situation to life that is mildly triggering of anger for you, feeling into it, begin to notice how the anger feels in the heart and in the body. Allow yourself to feel it. See if you can notice where in the body it is alive most. Perhaps it's really in your chest. You really feel it there. Or perhaps it's in your head. It might even be in your hands or your arms or your feet or the belly. As you feel into this anger, I'd like to give you permission to acknowledge why it's there, with a quality of compassion, to really honor that this anger is there because there has been some slight to you, some disrespect, as was shared in the chat, some injustice. And give yourself credit, really acknowledge this anger is here for a reason and I need to honor it, I need to listen to it. And see what it feels like when you do that. Does the anger dissipate a little bit? Does it become more balanced in the body? You can really notice this as you honor it, that this is really appropriate and needs to be listened to. Next, because anger, as I was saying, is energy in the body, I would like to invite you, whatever is appropriate given how this feels in the body. Next, I would like to invite you to shake it or release it out of the body. You can do this by shaking. You can do this by standing up and jumping a little bit. You can even do this by pounding the floor. Whatever feels right to get that energy out of the body. Make sure that how you release the anger is not harming yourself or anyone else around you or anything else around you. See if you can channel that energy out of your body, letting it go, really actively releasing it. Often, sometimes what I do is I just really shake and release my body, depending on how much is there. And I want to give you permission to really let it all go right now. However that feels for you, just giving you a moment, about 30 seconds to a minute, where you can release it out of the body in a way that feels comfortable and right for you, as a mindfulness practice, as skillful means. How does it feel to let it go? Do you feel the body starting to calm down? Does it feel good? Is it a relief to get it out? It needs to be released. It needs to be expressed. It needs to be honored in this way. I'll give you just a few more seconds to honor the anger and to let it out of the body. Give yourself a lot of credit and settle back in when you feel ready. This is really for you to determine. This is your practice. This is all for you. When you feel ready, you can settle back into some stillness in the body. You may be ready now. It may feel right to lay or sit back down and to come to rest now. And notice, how does that feel as you come to rest? Take a few deep breaths, breathing in the energy of that, and as you breathe out, releasing any more of that pent-up tension. As you breathe out, let the whole body Release even more and more, just letting it all go. And as you breathe out, if you like the image, just allow the energy to be like a flow, like a river, letting it all flow out of the body to the earth. It can even be like a kind of a lava that returns to the earth, letting all that go. So take as many deep breaths as you need to find a little bit of balance and calm in the body that you can feel as the heart begins to regulate itself. Now next, let's go a little deeper with this practice, if it feels right. When we're able to release the energy, we're able to then peel back the anger a bit. That hard emotion on the surface of any hurt or injustice, feeling of being disrespected, what have you. I'd like you now to rest in the heart body for a moment. Still bringing to mind that situation, still keeping it fresh in your mind's eye. That situation that does trigger for you this experience of anger. Get in touch with how the heart feels in that situation now that you've let go of some of that energy. And gently begin to peel back the anger to see and to discover perhaps a more vulnerable emotion underneath that anger. What's underneath the anger? Is there a more vulnerable emotion of simply being hurt? How does that feel? And let yourself feel it enough so that you can then tap into perhaps what is at the heart of this anger? What is the deeper need that is at the root of this harm, this more vulnerable harm? Perhaps there is a need to be respected, to be heard, to be seen, to be understood, to be deeply valued, to be cherished, to be loved. Really take some time to feel into that and notice if perhaps the anger, when you get in touch with the deeper need, begins to really disperse. Because at the heart there is an unmet need. When you get in touch with this unmet need, whatever it may be, you can respond in real time as an act, as an experience of self-compassion. And this is where the healing, the deep healing, can really begin to unfold. Dropping down into the heart body, the emotional body, feel where that need is really located. Where do you feel that? And then respond. If there's a need to be respected, offer yourself some words of respect. I see you, I respect you. I'm here for you. I honor you. And let your awareness hold it in a way that meets this need, that addresses this need, and see how this unfolds in the heart. This is an experience where the heart begins to heal itself. It's very empowering to find this from the inside out. To begin to find that inner ally within our own heart that begins to meet the needs that we have been perhaps waiting a lifetime, looking outside of ourselves, letting all that go. And beginning to give ourselves what we need right now through words. Perhaps there's a gesture that you can find right now, placing your hands anywhere on the body, that gives you a palpable feeling of what it might feel like to be really met, for that deeper need to be deeply met, that's at the root of what this anger in this situation is all about, right? So using any gestures or words, hold yourself, hold the heart, meeting that need as best as you can in real time, in this moment right now. You can very gently return to that situation and notice if there's any insight now. Is there a more skillful way to manage whatever that situation may be? In a way that's more resilient, where the heart can hold itself, understanding its deep needs. So for now, letting that situation go, let it dissolve. Let that all go just for now. Reflect for yourself. What insights did you gain from this practice? Was it helpful to honor the anger, to acknowledge it, to realize there's really something at the root of it that needs to be tended to? And perhaps this can be attended to from the inside out. Peeling back the anger to understand the deeper, more vulnerable need underneath. For just this last minute of this practice time, to return to the support of the earth for just a moment, feeling grounded again, supported, honored by the earth, held literally by this earth. The earth as your witness to the dignity, the worth, the beauty of all that you are. I'll ring the bowl just to end this practice and allow us to have a minute or so just to reflect together on what we learned, what we felt, what we tapped into. So you can open your eyes and let's together just share. And I'm just looking at the chat, and thank you so much for sharing so that we can learn and grow together. Someone says, is it okay to not feel angry? Well, I think so. I think what's more important perhaps to reflect on is there anger that is there and appropriate? Perhaps it's just not okay to feel it for whatever reason. Perhaps we were raised in a way where it wasn't okay to be angry. It just wasn't. And so immediately it gets suppressed, right? So this is a deep practice. Part of what we're learning to do is to give anger space and to honor it, right? And I'll just say really quickly before we end, thank you all so much for your presence, that I really practice this. This is a big part of my own practice. I know I seem very calm right now with you. I'm of Sicilian ancestry, and so I'm hot-tempered. I'm actually really hot-tempered, if you can believe it. And I have to really learn how to practice this all the time. So this is something that I practice and keep very close in my own life all the time, and it's served me very well. So for now, wishing you well, And remember, just as we end, that you can meditate with us on Round Glass Live every single day. So join us tomorrow or actually anytime. Check us out on round.glass and on the app, of course. And I'll be here same time, same place, every Wednesday for the next live session. Thank you. Be well. May your heart be held. May it be held with healing, with grace, and with skill, even when you're angry. Take care until now.